the rosemary. Chop, chop, rosemary. Chop, chop. I don't know why it's so hard. What's up, sous chefs? I just want y'all to know that I've been missing you. I'm getting ready for just a lot of really great things that are happening in my life right now, but I wanted to make sure that I came on here and connected with all of you, let you guys know how much I appreciate you, how much I love that you're loving the content. Just wanted to say that if this is your first time here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Right next to it, there's post notifications. If you subscribe and you click that bell, it will always update you of any time I have a new recipe video, or in the future, you'll see some new things coming out. So go ahead and make sure that you click both of those things. If you like what I'm cooking, you like the recipe, you like the video all together, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And please, y'all, leave me a nice little comment in the comment section. I love reading comments. So, with no further ado, let's get into the video. All right, we're back. So today, y'all, we are gonna be making some good, delicious oxtails. Each little oxtail. Now, I don't wanna call them Southern oxtails, and I don't wanna call them Caribbean oxtails, because frankly, it's a combination of both of them, honey. But I do have some hot pepper sauce, some Scotch bonnet sauce, that type of thing to give those Caribbean flavors a little kick up. Yesterday, I got the ingredients for this recipe delivered from Instacart, and homeboy came up to the door like, yo, I know you make it sound good. You got the Scotch bonnets, and I couldn't find you the browning sauce. I was like, oh man, that's a little bit creepy, just a little bit now. Don't be creepy, just thank you. Thank you for my groceries. This is a door shutting. Have a nice day. If you're gonna make this recipe, I would start probably 4 to 6 hours ahead of time. We're gonna make the marinade, let it sit up for a while in my refrigerator, and then we're gonna throw it into my new favorite pot. I know you guys see that cast iron skillet. It's got a permanent place on the stove. You see it right there in the corner? Permanent place on the stove. However, I recently have been acquainted with the Dutch oven. Come on. Okay, so we're back and we are about to get started. I just want to show you what I'm working with. Just kidding. But as you can see, we have beef oxtails here. Each little oxtail. Looks like I have about 7 pounds of oxtails. I know that sounds like a lot, and it is a little bit extra, but Southern girl, Southern family, we never make enough food just for whoever's there at that moment. You never know who's gonna come over. Scissors, exercise these scissors. Sometimes it gets stiff. If you never have seen an oxtail, for those that are not familiar, this is what we're working with. One by one, we're just gonna rinse each of the oxtails here and place it onto our pan so that we can season them up. All right, so here we have our oxtails. We've washed them off with just a little bit of water. And the next thing that I'm going to do is use some of this real lemon. It's 100% lemon juice, and I do use this because I don't want to cut up lemons. I'm gonna use this. I'm literally just going to sprinkle a little bit of this juice. You probably want to use about a cup of lemon juice total onto the oxtails, and this is just kind of like the Caribbean way of double washing. I'm just rotating each little oxtail through through the lemon juice, and then we're gonna start our seasoning process. This seasoning is actually just a little bit of something that I put together in the house. It's literally sea salt, garlic powder, and crushed black pepper. It's the seasoning that you use in most restaurants. Seasoning as normal. Going to shake this over each of the oxtails. A lot of times you might want to start this off with a little bit of olive oil to make sure it sticks. However, we coated ours with lemon juice, so there shouldn't be any problem with the oxtail sticking. I would suggest is having a second pan that you can use when you're doing this seasoning process, because you don't want to lose your seasoning when you're flipping it over, right? So we know that we've got it all covered here. We want to flip the part of the oxtail that we've seasoned down into the pan, and once we finish that, we will season the other side of each of the oxtails. We'll be right back. Give you a little bit of a close-up here. So all of our oxtails are seasoned down into that pan, and we are just going to finish off again with our same seasoning. We want to make sure that these are nice and covered. All right. I'm going to add just a little bit more out of the shaker here. Ensure we have a really nice marinade. And there we are. You guys like that? This is our dry seasoning portion. We're definitely going to add some thyme and some rosemary and all of those really good seasoning, fresh herbs to go along with our dry seasoning. So we're gonna get those ready and we'll be right back. The first herb that we are going to use is some good old thyme. Anytime that you're using thyme, you definitely want to make sure that first you wash it and then you kind of pluck off each of the little leaves. So we're gonna do that and we'll come back. We also have rosemary. We're going to use some rosemary, some scallions, and some celery, and get that all together in some nice little bowls, and we'll finish it off and let it marinate for a couple hours and move on to the next thing, okay? Be right back. Dill rosemary, chop, chop, rosemary, chop, chop. I don't know why it was so hard. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sprigs of rosemary that we're going to put into our pan with our oxtails, boy. We are going to go ahead, we already added our thyme. We're gonna put these couple of sprigs of rosemary into the pan. The next step that actually makes the marinade, because marinade is wet, is we're going to mix Worcestershire. We're gonna mix this Worcestershire sauce along with some beef broth, some homemade beef broth. It's gonna be our marinade in the bottom of our pan with that rosemary, that thyme, lemon juice, salt, pepper, garlic, and we're on our way, y'all. We're gonna put that in the refrigerator for 3 hours, and then we're gonna come back when it's marinated and cook it. All right, bye for now. Oxtails have been marinating for about 3 hours now. It's time to take them out of the marinade and finish them up in our Dutch oven. Extra virgin olive oil. We want to just coat the bottom of this pan with some olive oil. Next thing we want to do, we're just going to add some organic carrots down into the bottom of it. Going to Right on top of that, we're going to add Vidalia sweet onions. And you can see kind of the thickness that we chopped for this recipe. And really anytime you're using a Dutch oven, I never chop anything too fine. If people don't like onions, they're large enough for people to pick them out. In addition to the Vidalia onions, I have 2 bunches of green onions. I've just simply cut off the ends there. And again, if you've seen me use these green onions in other recipes, you'll know that I don't really ever chop them. I just kind of bruise them. And the way that you do that, you kind of just twist. You want to sometimes even fold. And basically opening up those oils in there. So as you can see, they're sort of kind of turning into that darker green color. It's exactly what we're looking for. I'm gonna lay those right on top. Let's get our oxtail. As you can see, our oxtails have been marinating here. We are going to take them out, place them directly on top of all of our vegetables here. I don't drain off the juice yet because not even pour some into the bottom of the pot here. Last but not least, we're gonna take our house seasoning one more time. And the reason I go back over it is because that Worcestershire sauce that I can't pronounce, or actually I'm sure I could pronounce it, I just don't know what the proper pronunciation is. It's got a little bit of tang to it, and you do see that in a lot of Caribbean recipes. However, your girl is Southern, and we like everything to be really well seasoned. So again, this house seasoning is literally salt, pepper, and garlic powder. Adding it a little bit more because we do have all those vegetables in the bottom of the pan, and we want this to really come through. All right, this is ready. We're gonna put it in the oven at 375 for about 2 hours, and then when it's done, we will eat. Okay, you guys, our oxtails are finally ready. I am so excited. Listen, let me tell you, these oxtails took so much longer than I originally thought they were gonna take. I put them in the Dutch oven, as you guys saw earlier in the video. Then I had to take them out and put them in the crock pot. And then I put them back in the Dutch oven. But guess what? They are finally done. And I am so excited to eat with you guys. So I'm gonna go over here to my Dutch oven. You guys are gonna see this a lot. I already told you that. Dig some of that out. And because we're doing a twist on Southern and Caribbean oxtails, I had to take the side dishes more to the southern side. So I baked a nice pan of mac and cheese. Don't you worry, that recipe is coming up soon too. It is in the works. It's already happening. So the mac and cheese recipe, wait on it. It's gonna be on my plate. I might give you a little bit taste, but y'all know how that goes. You definitely have to make it yourself. That's why I give you the recipes. That's why I take the time to show you how to do everything. It's because you can do it yourself. You are a sous chef too. All right, let's get into this food. I had to make it real Southern style. Make sure I get that macaroni and cheese in there. Give you guys a little bit of a close-up. That little crispy, crunchy, guys, it look good, no? This is a highlight. Oxtails. All right. Look at that. Nice, hot and steamy. Let's eat. Just want to show you how easily this pulls apart. This is a little bit of oxtail meat. I have an aunt who tells me that I make sure I always praise the Lord and dance every time I eat something, which really just means I dance every time I get some good food. Me and my cousin Morgan, hey cousin, we'd be like, yes. This is good. One thing I want you guys to know that I added in, and you didn't see it in the previous clips, but it's especially important to add in when you're making, if you want to make my oxtails. Let me see if you can see it. This is West Indian hot sauce, and I'm telling you, it's adding so much flavor. It gives it a nice little kick, but it's also adding like a ridiculous amount of flavor to the oxtails itself. I just wanted to make sure that I showed that to you. Okay, let me get you a real close up. You see that? Look at that. If your oxtail isn't coming off of the bone like that, you need to cook them longer and better. Yo, go make this. Y'all know I'm rude. So what I'm about to do now is take a little scoop and bring it real close to the camera and say, you want to try some, don't you? And bring it real close, and then I'm gonna snatch it away and I'm gonna tell you to make it yourself. You don't believe me? You want to try some, don't you? Let me get you a nice big bite. Mama gonna feed you tonight. Make it yourself.